Extinct Cities in the World, Part 2. Hello folks! How are you? Earlier this week, we brought you a video on the extinct cities in the world. But we felt that we are missing out on some of the important cities on that list. So, here we are with Part 2 of Extinct Cities in the World. But before that, if you are watching this channel for the first time, then do subscribe to the channel for more such factual videos. Also, hit the bell icon so that you get a notification whenever we upload a new video. 1. Helike, Greece. There are several tales of lost cities that are nothing more than myths. Some ancient tales of sunken cities, like the lost city of Atlantis, may be nothing more than myths, but there are exceptions. The ancient Greek city of Helike was destroyed, buried, and lost to history by a wave. Helike has been one of the suggestions for what inspired Plato to write his story of the lost city of Atlantis. The ancient Greeks were surprised to find Helike, a small city under the sea, and said it was a reminder of the wrath of the gods, Poseidon in particular. The Romans considered it a tourist attraction. The city may have been underwater in the lagoon in the time of the Greeks and Romans, but that lagoon has since been covered by riverborne silt. 2. Tenochtitlán, Aztec. The ancient capital of the Aztec Empire was named Tenochtitlan. It was founded in the marsh of Lake Texcoco in 1325 AD and is now located at the site of modern Mexico City. Tenochtitlan was the capital of the Aztecs and formed a confederacy that was eventually destroyed by the Spanish conquistadores. The Aztecs originally inhabited a small area on two small islands in Lake Texcoco. However, the site eventually grew to cover almost 5 square miles, 13 square kilometers. It was connected by causeways to the mainland. The largest residential concentration of people in pre-Columbian Mesoamerica history was around 1519. About 400,000 people lived in the city. It contained the Palace of Montezuma II, which consisted of over 300 rooms, as well as hundreds of temples. In 1521, it was under the stewardship of Hernán Cortés. 3. Dwarka, India. The Hindu culture says that the great and beautiful city of Krishna was located in the ancient Indian city of Dwarka. According to the Hindu writings, when Krishna left the earth to join the spiritual world, the age of Kali began, and Dwarka and its inhabitants were submerged by the sea. The stories of the submersion can invoke a tsunami of the kind that happened in India in 2004. One of the 7 sacred towns of Hinduism is the modern Dwarka, which is visited each year by pilgrims worshipping Krishna. The search for Atlantis began in the 1930s, and the first archaeological excavation took place in 1963. The submerged remains of the ancient Dwarka, as well as a number of ancient artifacts, were found during the next excavation led by an underwater archaeologist. The fortifications that protected the ancient walls were discovered between 1983 and 1990. This tells us that the ancient city walls probably weren't built along the riverbanks. Stone blocks used for the construction, pillars, and irrigation systems were found, but a debate is still going on about the age of the vestiges, either from 300 to 1500 years BC or from the Middle Ages. Several stone anchors have also been recovered on the site at the same depth, which suggests that people were living there. As for the submerged part of the city, it must have been large as well as an important trade center during the 16th and 17th centuries, and must have been an important trade port during the 15th to 18th centuries. This ancient port city could have been a gate for foreign sailors who arrived in India because of the word Dwarka, which means door or gate. 4. Takshshila, Pakistan. The ramparts of Sirkap in the 2nd century BC and the city of Sursuk in the 1st century AD are from the Neolithic tumulus of Saraikela. Takshshila shows the different stages in the development of a city on the Indus that was influenced by Persia, Greece, and Central Asia, as well as by the 5th century BC. An important Buddhist center of learning was located here during the 2nd century AD. The Grand Trunk Road leads to Takshshila, 30 kilometers northwest of Rawalpindi. It's one of the most important archaeological sites in Asia. The city flourished both economically and culturally due to its location on a branch of the Silk Road that linked China to the west. The apogee of Takshshila was reached between the 1st and 5th centuries AD. Buddhist monuments were erected throughout the Takshshila Valley, which was turned into a religious heartland and a destination for pilgrims from all over the world. Takshshila is mentioned in several languages and can be deduced that it was very famous. The city was named after a prince of the serpent Takshshila in Sanskrit, Takshshila in Pali, Takshshila in Greek, and Chusiachashirlo in Chinese. Now that you have come halfway to this video, hit the like button if you have liked it so far, also subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon, so you don't miss out on any video. 5. Polonnaruwa, Lanka. It's an ancient garden city filled with palaces, pleasure gardens, Buddhist monuments, and Hindu temples, sheltered in a serene 4 kilometers woodland, surrounded by 3 walls on the east shore of a centuries-old artificial lake. The power center, Anuradhapura, was replaced by King Parakramabahu's 12th century majestic capital. The city had a golden era, but it was short-lived thanks to a king from North India. It's a classic plunderan rule type of thing. There are eye-popping structures all over, but the piece de resistance is the rank of the Hira Dagoba. A brick masterpiece that resembles an oversized bell is simple and unadorned, except for 4 engraving-rich altars at the centerpiece. There are 4 huge Buddha carvings on a granite boulder, including a 46-foot reclining figure. The upper terrace of the Vadadage is adorned with a sandalwood, Sandakadapahana, moonstone that was discovered during excavations. A conventionalized half-lotus dominates the center and is surrounded by bands decorated with processions of lions, horses, elephants, and bulls. It has a deep symbolism of shunning worldly temptations and trying for nirvana. Walk or cycle all over the royal palace complex and the cluster of religious buildings to see the best ancient architecture in the country. Monks of Buddhism and priests of Hinduism worship the same god in their respective temples, but they do not mix. These sculptures depict the classical Indian dance form, Bharatanatyam, and depict dancers in a dancing position. 6. Rapta, Tanzania. Rapta was an emporium that flourished on the eastern seaboard of what is now Kenya around the 1st century AD. There are a number of plausible candidate sites, but its location has not been determined. 2 days' travel south of the Manuthias Islands was described as the last emporium of Azania by the ancient periplus of the Erythraean Sea. The city and port were ruled by South Arabian vassals of the Himyarite kingdom, particularly a Maphoretic chieftain, according to the periplus. Diogenes, a merchant in the Indian trade, was blown off course from his usual route from India, and after traveling 25 days south along the coast of Africa arrived at Rapta, located where the river of the same name enters the Indian Ocean opposite the island of Manuthias. The river is said to have its source near the Mountains of the Moon, and the Nile was also said to have its source. Theophilos, a Greek captain, took 20 days to travel from the Horn of Africa to Rapta, as mentioned by Ptolemy. Stephanus of Byzantium and Cosmas Indicopoulos have also mentioned Rapta. Stephanus of Byzantium and Ptolemy wrote about Rapta being a metropolis of Barbaria. 7. Genghis Khan, Mongol Empire. Genghis Khan was a great warrior and ruler of genius. Starting from obscure and insignificant beginnings, he brought all the nomadic tribes under the rule of himself and his family. A disciplined military state. He then turned his attention to the settled peoples beyond the borders of his nomadic realm and began the series of campaigns of plunder and conquest that eventually carried the Mongol armies as far as the Adriatic Sea in one direction and the Pacific coast of China in the other, leading to the establishment of the Great Mongol Empire. The remains of a 13th century AD fortress, believed to have been built for Genghis Khan, have been discovered by a team of archaeologists. The bones and shards found at the site were dated to around 1212 AD, according to carbon dating. Researchers believe the fortress was built for Khan by a close associate, and the findings could provide valuable information about his empire-building strategy and western expansion. And that's it for the day. Which one of these amazed you the most? Tell us in the comments. Stay tuned with facts, folks, and fun for more such content. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on any videos. Do share the video with your friends.